Welcome to the Wellness in a Chaotic World podcast. I'm your host, Cheryl Davis. Before we dive in, I wanted to note that as a health and wellness coach, I can support you in making sustainable lifestyle changes, tuning into your own wisdom, and building habits that align with your values and vision for your well being. I don't prescribe or treat health conditions, as I'm not a doctor or a mental health professional. Instead, I can walk alongside you as you create a healthier life on your terms. From time to time, I share conversations with guests. The views and opinions expressed by those guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect my views or those of anyone associated with wellness in a chaotic world. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and isn't a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always talk to your doctor or qualified mental health provider about any physical or mental health concerns. This is the Wellness in a Chaotic World podcast, a place where we're having conversations about what it really takes to live well in our unhealthy, chaotic world. I'm your host, Cheryl Davis. If you're beating yourself up over a bag of chips you ate in a stressed out frenzy, or you can't figure out how anyone manages to find the time to even think about wellness, you're in the right place. We talk about all of these things and more because, frankly, we don't talk to each other enough about what we're really up against every day. Let's change that right now. Today, my guest is Kate Erwin. And for those of you who are just joining us, Kate was my very first guest here on the podcast. And that was about a little over 2 years ago, actually.
Yep.
So, Kate, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, instead of me doing a whole long thing about how awesome you are and who you are,
Aw.
how would you describe yourself to this audience and who are you?
Sure. So I am a born connector. That's how I would describe myself. I'm a social media manager and a karaoke DJ at night. I just really love bringing people together and sharing messaging and ideas and just making people happy. That's really why I'm here in the world. That's my purpose. And I would say, as far as my health journey, it was a bit of a reluctant one, but over the past year, I've managed to create some healthy habits for myself, and I ultimately lost 63 pounds, and now I'm just trying to keep it off. So super excited about that and excited to kind of share that with you.
That is awesome.
Thank you.
So, listeners here, they haven't heard from you in 2 years. So it has been quite a while. So, what has been really going well for you?
I would say like my favorite thing has been learning how to not necessarily do what people tell you to do. I am not a person who is very compliant at anything. So if anybody says this is what you must eat, this is how you must exercise, etc., I am not going to do it. I am not that kind of person. I am like naturally rebellious when people try to get me to do anything. So for me, I actually met a health coach through you, Cheryl. Her name is Jenny, and she helped me a lot with realizing that I can actually tailor my lifestyle to all of the things that I value. So, for example, I think the hardest part for me still is fitness. And that is in part because I don't like going to the gym and I don't like some of the more traditional fitness methods. I'm not a runner. I'm not, so learning that I can actually modify that to things that I enjoy. So I do line dancing. I find that super fun. I love to go on hikes and explore nature. So basically learning that I can kind of make my like health and fitness journey look like whatever I want it to has been very helpful for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like that's one of the biggest things that a health coach can help people with, right? Is like that understanding that like this is your life. Like, and it
Yeah.
should, your health goals should match your reality.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And in that too, like I think I'm one who gives myself grace a lot, and I think it's okay if I think it's okay if other people do that too. So like I don't believe in bad foods and good foods. I believe like, I try to kind of eat my protein and my fiber first and kind of like focus on, like the things that my body needs to function first. But I will tell you, I think I eat dessert every day of my life and I've done that and still lost a bunch of weight. And so I don't know. I think that, again, yeah, you can just kind of do things your way and do things in a way that I think the most important thing for me is things that are sustainable and in alignment with my values. Those are kind of the big things. Because, yeah, it's your life. And like, if you're going to do anything that's depriving yourself of joy, like, you're not going to continue to do it. So, for me, a lot of it's been like finding healthy foods that I love. Like I am obsessed with hard-boiled eggs. Like I could eat them. I literally do eat them every day. Or I just got into the new Courtney Cook TikTok stuffed sweet potato trend. So, yeah, just like finding things that bring you joy that are healthy and kind of starting there.
Put some fun back into it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're pretty comfortable talking about the experience that you had with a health coach?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've loved it. I thought so I'm a very like goal-oriented person and I also love talking about my feelings. So both of those things really made a health coach helpful for me because it felt and I know I know that every health coach is like I am not your therapist, like I am not a licensed therapist, but like it felt very similar to therapy for me as somebody who's been in therapy since I was like 12 years old. It just felt very comfortable to talk to somebody and open up about these struggles and I was very grateful that my health coach in particular wasn't super judgmental about the fact that, when I started seeing her, I was close to 250 pounds and she wasn't like, she wasn't like, gosh, like cracking the whip. Like, I think I just like had this idea that it would start from a place of like, here's why you're a bad fat person and like what you need to do better. You know what I mean? Like you're like fat is bad and you have no self-control and you're like living this life of like hedonism and like here's why we need to like change all of that. And instead she came at it from like a place of empathy and was very like we didn't really even talk about my weight. We more talked about like habits and things that I could do every day to kind of like change my life and like we would really get at the heart of why I had goals. So like for me, losing weight was mostly I wanted energy and mobility and like different people have different reasons, right? But for me it was like, oh, I don't want to get out of breath. I have like I'm like a very like go out, do things kind of person, and I didn't want to get tired. I just wanted to like be able to do more with my life, physically, mentally. And so that was important to me. And so like it was just great to have somebody there who could basically tell you like, hey, like how like ask you the right questions so that you could figure out what actually drives you. That was yeah, super amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, being non-judgmental
Yeah,
is one of the keys that is it's a basic tenet of health coaching.
yeah,
And, I feel like people might not expect that at first. It might
for
be something
sure.
that like gets in the way of even thinking about working with someone because a lot of times, we're judging ourselves for something, and so we don't want to put any of it out there.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
so that is something that surprised you, or
Oh,
what?
very much. Like I think, and I mean, it it did and it didn't because as soon as I met Jenny, I knew that she would be a very sweet and accepting person, and like obviously, like I knew that you were doing this, and you're the kindest person I know. So I was just like, okay, this is not necessarily like the people who are drawn to it are probably going to do this because they care. But I think there was this other part of me, like in general, when I hear like health and wellness, I think of the industry and I think of like these kind of negative things and like conformity and like that sounds so bad but it's just like I think for me I have like a lot of negative associations with terms like wellness even though wellness is such a like positive term but because of all of the kind of like negative associations capitalist associations with
Oh,
it and the
sure. Yeah,
struggle
the pressure to like buy this supplement and that
yeah
supplement, or
yeah
yeah, and to just do it, right? That
yeah
whole mentality of, get your butt in gear.
exactly, exactly. And that's just not who I am. And so, but I think what's been great about meeting with a coach was that it is very personalized and it's your life, it's your journey, it's your body. And so just like basically getting to a point where I have mostly healed my relationship with food, my relationship with alcohol, which was actually a bigger deal for me. because one of the ways that I gained weight was because I am a beer drinker and I like an IPA. And, I would drink sometimes 7 IPAs in a single night. And, like I'm not a gigantic woman. I'm like 5'7", right? So it was a lot, a lot, a lot. And so being able to kind of work with someone who was very understanding of the fact that, you know, I was like I maybe wasn't doing this for like the traditional reasons, or maybe wasn't as gung-ho, I guess, about it, but that I had like these very specific goals that I wanted to achieve and that I was willing to work toward them. It was very helpful.
Yeah, because it's individual, you know.
Very much.
Your
Yeah.
motivations are individual. Yeah, like you were saying, like the reasons that you may have been like drinking in excess are
Yeah.
were not necessarily the traditional like
Yeah.
yeah, reasons, right?
Yeah, like personally, like I'm not. So it's funny. I actually did a whole study for people who have alcohol use disorder. Not to get into the weeds on this, but basically, one of the big things for me is that I don't actually crave alcohol. I just crave connection. And when you're out, I find it very easy. Like it's almost like when you're a kid and they're talking about like peer pressure. It's like that. Like if I'm out, I'm just going to keep drinking. And thankfully, I have been able to cut down my alcohol use quite a lot over the past year, probably like about in half. Again, I still drink like 2, 3 times a week, but very minimal, like, 3 drinks instead of seven. So definitely, definitely making changes, but also like making changes in a way that I find sustainable, right? Because like I'm a karaoke DJ, I get free shift drinks. I'm not gonna not drink them. Like tonight's my shift. I know that I'm gonna have at least two whiskey gingers while I'm there, and I want that to be part of my life, right? Like I don't want to like completely cut out the things that I enjoy, but I do want to be better about moderation because yeah, because it's going to improve my lifestyle basically every day.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, no, I'm glad you went into that because it gives it a little context to what we were talking
yeah.
about. So when you were making like conscious changes to your lifestyle,
Yeah.
like what kind of things were helpful for you?
So I'm very obsessive. So for me, I have I have a spreadsheet with everything that I eat and drink in it, and I don't recommend it to people because not everybody is that kind of person. But if you're like me, like I also have a budget spreadsheet that's very specific. And so if you love data and you love like kind of holding yourself accountable by writing things down, which I do, that's definitely an option. It's been super helpful for me just to see what I'm eating. And then I also add a section about like how it made me feel. Like, like did I feel sick that day? Like, did I eat too much and feel sick? Like, you know, did I not eat enough? Like there are days because I highlight it in red if I skip meals because I don't want to skip meals. Like that's not my goal. I want to be like eating regularly. And I last year, and I'm still on a GLP-1, but I'm on a very low dose, but I was on a higher dose for a little bit last year. And so I wanted to make sure that I was still like eating plenty of protein, plenty of fiber, and like would take basically like very, very intense notes. And that helped. And then I think just the other big one, other than just tracking a lot, was yeah, finding that why, like why am I doing this? And kind of celebrating wins. So yeah, for me, like it was just realizing what I wanted out of my body and what I wanted for my health. One of the things was that my diastolic blood pressure was high at the beginning of last year. It was like hovering around 90. And so I wanted to bring it back to 80 naturally. And my doctor was like, "Oh, you should go on medication." And I said, "No, I'm 36 years old." I said, "Listen, maybe in 20 years I will need this, but I want to hold off for as long as possible." And so I was able to reduce my blood pressure naturally, which I was very happy about. But yeah, that's just the kind of thing that has like all of those things have helped me basically.
That's awesome. I mean, and part of this is like getting to know what really works for you, right? So you
Yeah.
know that those charts and the data really works for you.
Works for me. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So you mentioned GLP-1.
Yeah.
So what has been your experience?
So it depends. So first, I started taking one as part of this alcohol use study. And it was an experimental trial with, gosh, I'm gonna mispronounce it, mazdutide. Yeah, but anyway, but check me on that. But it's not even released yet. It has been through a number of clinical trials for different things, for obesity and other things. But for me, I was part of an alcohol use study, and I loved it at first. I loved a low dose. It really helped me. It blocked food noise, which is, if you're unfamiliar, but probably most people are by now, but it's that feeling of like always kind of thinking and fixating on food and thinking like what's my next meal going to be? What am I going to eat next? What's, like what like I'm like, wanting a little snack, like stuff like that. And so it kind of like erased that for me, which I didn't even realize was a big problem for me until I started taking it. And more importantly, it made it so that I couldn't consume a lot. So I had to eat smaller portions overall. So like a good example is I used to eat an entire Chipotle burrito, right? It was probably, I think like my order was usually around 1,200 calories, just one single burrito, 1,200 calories, and I would eat the whole thing. And now, like, on a GLP-1, I will cut that in half or sometimes thirds. And it's been great because for me, I think of it as like, oh, now I get to eat my favorite food 3 times instead of just the one time, which I think for a while I felt this anxiety, like, when am I going to eat again? And instead, I'm like, oh, I can still eat that thing that I like again, just don't eat the whole thing, or like don't eat like half your day's calories in this one meal. So yeah, it's been super helpful. I didn't like when I was on a higher dose, I had some side effects. I had some nausea and some vomiting. So I definitely think that it's all about getting the dose right. Right now, I'm on just a maintenance dose of Zepbound, a 2.5 milligram dose of Zepbound. And that's mainly just so that I don't gain the weight back. But I have very, very little, as far as like weight loss goals now, like I'm sort of my quote goal weight is probably like 20 pounds less than I am now. I'm at 185. But it's not like a hard goal. It's like I'm very happy in my body now. So yeah, delighted about it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's been kind of a controversial thing. Like you
Yeah.
either love it and or you hear like horror stories. So
Yeah. And
I'm glad to hear your experience with it. It's kind of good, but
yeah.
also like measured.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's just really important and I mean, it was really weird of me to do this in the first place because, like, I have means, like, I didn't really need the money. I was just kind of curious about the research. But so, like, I don't recommend that people, like, be a guinea pig and do whatever dose, right? Like, I don't recommend that people join a study like this. It was probably a weird choice. But for me, I never would have tried a GLP-1 except for this study. And so I'm happy about it for that. And I will say, that, as long as you are careful and you don't overdo it, I think it's brilliant. I mean, it works, right? I do get scared when I see like thinner people use them to basically become like gaunt, and then it becomes like and again, like, I don't know. It's not my place to comment on other people's bodies, but it's also like I get worried, right? Like I get worried that like we're gonna perpetuate like this kind of like unhealthy diet culture because like, yeah, like it's bad to be obese and it's also bad to be underweight. So like let's all eat hearty. I mentioned before Courtney Cook's TikTok. I love, like, try to have the relationship with food that Courtney Cook has. Like that's really my thing, is like seriously, like she makes these. Have you seen her TikTok, Cheryl?
No, I have not
Oh my
yet.
gosh, you gotta look it up. So she makes these, like, she's a teacher and she makes these like lunch platters that are like lots of like hard-boiled eggs, onions, strawberries, and like they're just very like hearty, good, balanced meals. And she gets super excited about them. And so yeah, just like trying to like have like a healthier relationship with food is like super important to me because I love food, but I don't want it to kill me, right? I don't want death by food.
No, you want
You
food
know?
to fuel you and nourish
Yeah,
you.
exactly, correct. But yeah, absolutely.
So you mentioned before that you were trying to celebrate wins.
Yeah.
So how do you think that that helps you with, not just reaching your goals, but like in your daily living?
Yeah, I mean, I think like I'm a lot happier with what my body can do now. Like some of it is so simple. Like I can cross my legs very easily or sit like crisscross applesauce. And so I feel like I can move my body. Just I'm a lot more flexible. I just feel a lot more comfortable in my skin. A good example is like we went to Chicago a few months ago and I felt very comfortable in the airplane seat. Like I've never been the weight where like I needed like a seatbelt extender or anything, but like I feel like for a while my arms were wide enough and my shoulders that I would maybe like be touching the person in the seat next to me, and instead I felt like I fit very well in the seat. Just things like that, just like weird little improvements in your life that make you realize, how worth it is. That it's not because I mean, we've talked about this before, like I'm very like pro like body neutrality, and I'm not like a person who tries to like pay much attention to the way that I look, I suppose. And that doesn't mean that like I don't get dressed up and like have fun and enjoy myself, but like I'm not doing this for like somebody's gaze, right? Like I'm doing this so that my body feels good and so that I, can do more with it. Or yeah, like an example I think I mentioned before, like if I'm hiking or line dancing, like I can do a better job. It's like I'm out of breath less often. I was hiking with my dad last June, and that was like I hadn't really lost much weight, but I think I was just maybe becoming a little bit more healthy already, even though you couldn't really see it. And I was hiking and he like couldn't keep up with me and he was like, "Wow, you're in pretty good shape." And I said, "Yeah, I am. I hike." So, yeah, I think those are some things that have been like helpful for me.
That's amazing. So, I mean, really, you're somebody who you recognize that you're doing these things for yourself. Like, this is for no one else.
Yeah. Oh no, no one else. And in fact, actually, I don't, I shouldn't say I do like getting compliments because I've gotten a lot of compliments, but I've also noticed that some people treat me better and I hate that and it freaks me out because I don't believe that like people should be treated better because they have a smaller body. But and it's like, I'm not gonna get into it with them. Like I haven't been super confrontational about it, but like it does bother me. So yeah, I mostly am just doing this because I have wanted to, I don't know, not even live longer. That's not it. It's like more like live better in the moment, I suppose.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you said your goals for like the future beyond weight, like what are you looking toward now?
So I think right now, probably the thing that I need to do is create more movement. That's definitely something that I'm looking forward to doing. And I think I struggle with that the most, especially in the winter, because I don't spend as much time outdoors in the winter. And like I said, I'm not really a gym girl. So yeah, dancing for the most part for me. The other thing, and I'm struggling with how I'm gonna incorporate this, but the thing that my doctor wants me to do is more strength training because as you're losing weight, especially with a GLP-1, like I lost 63 pounds in like just under a year. So, you're not just losing fat, you're losing muscle as well. So you have to make sure that you are, staying strong. And also, if you think about it, my muscles were strong from carrying all that weight all the time. And now
Hmm.
that I'm not, like
Mhm.
I kind of need to be stronger. So yeah, I should definitely work that in. Don't have like a great plan for it yet, but a lot of it for me is like kind of stacking habits. So I try to do like one healthy habit at a time so that I actually do it consistently and don't just drop off and stop before I pick up a new one.
Yeah, that makes sense. Make it sustainable, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And that's why I'm struggling with strength training because like Ben, my husband, taught me how to do like kettlebell workouts. Really do not enjoy them. I enjoy how affordable they are because we have kettlebells in the house, so like I could just do them. But yeah, I think I need to figure out a different way to incorporate it. Yeah.
So once again, I'm hearing that it really, really, really matters that you like doing
Yeah.
the activity.
Yes. Or else I won't do it. I'm a brat. Like it sounds really bad, but like my whole life, like I've not been the kind of person who, I mean, we all do things we don't want to do, right? But like I'm not in general. I'm very blessed to do mostly just things I want to do in my life, right? Like my job is the job I want to do. I have my own business, so that gives me flexibility to like really only do what I want to do, only work with the people that I want to work with. I'm definitely that kind of person. And I think most people are too. Like if we're really being honest, like yes, I'm a brat and I need as much joy as possible, but who doesn't, right? Like who doesn't?
Honestly, this is why I love you because I think you you remind me that it's really true for all of us. It's
Yeah.
really true that we really, yeah, we all need to be bringing more joy
Yeah.
and not forcing ourselves into choices that we really don't want to be doing.
Yes, yes. And mind you, I'm also not saying don't try new things. Like
Oh, yeah.
step outside of your comfort zone. Like every time I say I don't like something, it's because I know. Like a good example is when I first moved to Syracuse, I was, pretty young, like 22, and I said, "You know what? This is the youngest my body's going to be. I want to run a 5K." And I was like, "I'm going to start running." I was running on the regular just to see if I could do it. I did it for maybe like 6 months to a year, and then I realized I don't enjoy this, and so I stopped. And so I think it's not necessarily that, like, definitely break out of your comfort zone, try things, try foods that you're not, used to, try, workouts that you're not used to, but it's okay if you don't like them. Like for me, I'm now obsessed with line dancing because I love music. I love that I'm thinking the whole time, right? Like my brain is occupied because I have to learn the steps and then remember the steps. So I'm not bored the way that I am when I'm running, right? And then it's also communal because that's very important to me too. So yeah, like just learn what you like, know yourself, because that's the way that your habits are going to be sustainable for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. I mean, there is that delicate balance, I think, between, pushing yourself to do things that might feel uncomfortable at first
Yeah.
and, you know, d- not continuing to do things that you don't like to do
Mm-hmm.
that aren't really serving you.
Yes, exactly. Like if something's not serving you, it's okay. You can cut it out of your life. Like what's the point? Who are you there to please? Hopefully you. Yeah.
So, what if people wanted to follow along with your journey? What's the best way? Where would they
So
find you?
I don't talk about it much. I would say go on Facebook. I'm one of many Kate Erwins with an E. I am in like a few GLP-1 groups there, so I talk to people in those. And I do post on occasion about my journey, but I post about other things too. Or you can also follow me on TikTok. Again, that is not a lot of super health content, but it's not that New York. And I mainly talk about local central New York tourism stuff, but definitely still follow me there. And LinkedIn. LinkedIn's where I live,
Yeah, I
so
was going to say LinkedIn is your home, right?
LinkedIn's my I just never talk about my health journey there. Like, or I did at the end of the year as like part of my wrap up, and I was like, and I lost 63 pounds because like it sounds cool. Like it's a lot of weight, so it's like, yeah. But but no, I don't really talk about that there at all.
Well, thank you for being here today. I really appreciate you coming back.
Yeah. Happy to be back, especially because the last time I was barely even on a health journey. I was just more on I would say like a mental health journey, but which does count, like it's it, but like, I wasn't really focusing much on my body, and now I am. So it's definitely lovely to be back.
If there's one thing to take away from today's conversation, it's this. You don't have to follow rigid rules to create meaningful change. You can design a path that fits your personality. And sometimes having the right kind of support makes that a whole lot easier. A good health coach isn't there to judge you or tell you what to do. They're there to help you understand yourself, to ask better questions, and help you build habits that actually fit your life. That's because sustainable change doesn't come from forcing it. It comes from working with who you are. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love for you to share it with someone who might need to hear it, or take a moment to rate and review the podcast. It really does help more people find these conversations. And if you're ready to start creating change in a way that actually feels good and sustainable for you, you can learn more about working with me in the show notes. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next time. If today's episode resonated with you, our private Facebook group is a great place to dive deeper, ask questions, and share wins with people who understand. It's free, it's private, and you can join by clicking the link in the episode description. I hope to see you there.